Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Sorry, I've got a lovely soundtrack to this webinar, which is my neighbour's building work. So I hope that's not too distracting for everyone. I will mute myself when I can. But welcome to this live webinar that's being organised as part of the Humber Apprenticeship Showcase, powered, of course, by SpringPod. So I'm sure if you have been on any SpringPod webinars before, you'll know all these, you've heard them a million times, but a few housekeeping bits before we get started. This talk should last around 45 minutes. We have a Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions about anything throughout, feel free to just pop them in the Q&A tab and we can put them to our lovely speaker when we're done. But we do sometimes get lots of questions. If we do have lots of questions, make sure to use the upvote function. So if you see a question that you wanted to ask, you can use the upvote, like thumbs up thing, and then that gives us the idea of what the popular questions are. And if you do miss this webinar or you have to leave at any point, then that's all good because we will be recording the webinar and you can watch it within 24 hours. It will be available for you. So in today's webinar, we're going to be talking about Wren Kitchens, and joining us to do that is Jonathan Simmons, who you'll see next to me. And Jonathan is Head of Recruitment Operations for Wren Kitchens, which I have here is the UK's #1 kitchen retailer and retail business to work for. Great news. Yeah, so Jonathan's here to talk to us all about that and Wren Kitchens. So Jonathan, you've got a presentation for us.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, fantastic.
Cool. Get on with it.
Yeah, thank you, Esme. So as Esme introduced me, I am the Head of Recruitment Operations for Wren Kitchens, the UK's #1 kitchen retailer, and has been voted for by our employees on Indeed over the last couple of years, the #1 retail business to work for in the UK as well. So today, what I'm going to do is just going to take you through our apprentice opportunities, which we have across the business, which we recruit for throughout the year. We're really looking to drive over the next couple of years off the back of hopefully coming out of this pandemic, our early careers opportunities from apprenticeships right through to graduate opportunities, and then obviously further up the food chain of obviously job roles as well. So in terms of what we'll do, we'll run through sort of a short introduction to Wren Kitchens. We'll go through our apprenticeship opportunities across each business area. We'll go through apprentice opportunities which we have at the moment and which are coming up, and we'll also cover some success stories of apprentices or people who have joined us in entry roles throughout the business and throughout the last 10-11 years which we've been going and have moved up their career ladder to where they are now. So in terms of ourselves, I'll just give you a brief introduction to Wren Kitchens. So as I said earlier, we're the UK's #1 kitchen retailer. What surprises a lot of people is we were only founded in 2009, so we are quite a relatively new business in terms of businesses overall. We're still privately owned, we still have one owner, and we're still a family-run business. Malk, our owner, is very active within the business. He's currently over in the USA helping with the startup of our USA business, which we created last year. As I briefly mentioned, we're the top-rated workplace on Indeed as a business for the retail industry, 2 years in a row, so 2019 and 2020. We are hoping to make it 3 years in a row this year, but obviously we'll keep everybody updated on that. Since 2009, we've seen year-on-year growth. So in 2009, we started with one lonely showroom. We've now got 105 showrooms in the UK, 2 that are open in the USA, and our plans, even though we're in a pandemic, are not slowing down. We still continue to grow. We still have plans to open more showrooms both here and stateside, and we will continue until we feel that we can either not open any more showrooms or we'll dive into another industry and we'll keep on innovating from there. In terms of our employees, I've actually got the figure wrong there. I found out this morning that it was over 7,000 employees we have now in the UK. A large proportion of them are in the Humber region, with us having a number of factories and our head office within here. So there's lots of opportunity for apprentices. We've got over 100 live apprentices across 10 different business areas within our whole business at the moment within the UK. And what we're looking to do is really drive that number up in terms of apprenticeships and as well other early careers opportunities alongside graduate schemes and placement schemes throughout sort of the next couple of years. We've got over 100 showrooms, 105 to be exact, 4 factories, 2 in Scunthorpe, 1 in Barton upon Humber, and 1 in Howden. So you'll see they're all in the Humber region. It will soon be 5. So we've got a another mega factory opening up just alongside our Barton factory at the moment, which is going to be around just under 1 million square feet of pure manufacturing. So lots of opportunities will be coming up for apprentices there. We've currently got 7 transport depots across the UK, 1 up in Scotland, a few down south, all across the Midlands, and then we've got 1 here in Barton upon Humber and 1 in Howden as well, so 2 in the Humber area. And then we've got a state-of-the-art head office with gyms, with restaurants, with a whole load of really good facilities. And a lot of our central functions are based here as well, so there's a lot of opportunities which we'll go on to for them. The USA expansion, so that was a really exciting time for our business last year. Even though in the middle of a pandemic, we still decided to go forward with our USA business. Opened up our first showroom in Connecticut, in a place called Milford, which is just north of New York. And the business is flying at the moment, and we will be expanding right across the UK in the years to come. And if you do join us as a business, we are moving UK employees over to our USA business to get that off the ground at the moment, but eventually that will grow a lot bigger than the UK business, and there'll be lots of opportunity for people who join us as apprentices now, progressing their career, and the opportunities to move over to the USA will be there, so that's a really exciting time for them as well. We plan to take over the USA market like we have done in the UK, and we will be literally opening up hundreds of showrooms right across the USA over the next few years. We have a mantra across the business, and it's simply what our goal is, whether you are myself as a head of recruitment, whether you're an apprentice, whether you're working in whichever department or role you're working in. And our goal is simple: it's to be number one in all aspects of our business and relentlessly pursue excellence and growth, right from obviously when you come in the morning till you go home. So apprentices in Wren Kitchens. So we'll now go through sort of the different business areas and the opportunities that we've got. So in terms of ourselves, what a lot of people don't realise is that we're not just a retail business. We don't just sell kitchens and design the dream kitchens for our customers. What we also do is, alongside them processes, we actually manufacture and deliver them to our customers' doorsteps ourselves. We also own the after service. So we've got a customer services contact centre here in Barton as well, which we'll move on to with some apprentice opportunities there. So what that means is we own the whole supply chain, we own our customer's dream reality and the whole process of making that a reality, shall we say, which brings us on to a lot of areas for apprentices. So at the moment we've got apprenticeships and apprentices, in engineering, both mechanical and electrical maintenance on the machinery within our factories. In manufacturing and the factories itself, we have machine operators who go through an operation engineering apprenticeship to become fully fledged machine operators on machines such as our CNC machines. In transport, we've recently brought in a LGV driver apprenticeship scheme. So there's currently a huge shortage of drivers right across the UK. So what we're looking to do is bring apprentices in, put them through their LGV lessons over the course of a year's apprenticeship, and then they become a fully qualified driver and off they go from there in one of our big lorries. Within transport as well, we also have schemes for apprentices to join us in an administration role and then work their way up within a transport office and depot into a supervisor or managerial role. In IT at the moment, we have service desk. So that is an apprenticeship for people which help us with our software or hardware when we're using our laptops, our technology equipment across the business. Our contact centre, as I touched briefly on, they offer an aftercare service for our customers. So within there, we've got apprenticeships for customer services, which will obviously teach you all about how to obviously look after and offer the best possible service to our customers. HR and training. So I myself have gone through my CIPD apprenticeship using our apprenticeship levy. Many of us within our HR, within our people function, HR training and recruitment have gone through our CIPD or some form of apprenticeship to upskill ourselves. So that's a good area of the business that we focus on for apprenticeships. Administration. So each department across the business has a team of administrators or an administrator. What we like to do at the moment and what I'm really pushing for is when we hire an administrator, that we potentially look at bringing in an apprentice, putting them through the business admin level 2 or 3, and really then looking to progress them on in their career, whichever direction they see fit from there. Catering as well. So at our manufacturing sites, we have restaurants which serve an array of hot and cold food. You name it, it's on the menu. So what we have is chefs who we put through sort of catering apprenticeships and bring in and build up alongside our experienced chefs to be able to offer an array of food at breakfast and lunchtime to all of our staff on site. So within engineering and manufacturing, so we mentioned earlier the factories that we've got. And early 2022 will see us open up a new mega factory within Barton upon Humber. Within this, you'll see our current site in the image below, and you'll see the scale of what we're trying to build and what we are in the process of building in terms of a new factory. Now, that will create around 1,000 jobs for the local economy. What will be in there is a whole range of bespoke machinery, and what comes with that is the need to hire apprentices such as engineers or machine operators to either keep up with the maintenance and keep up with the actual running of that. So we have yearly intakes for engineers and machine operators. We are just in the process of going through one of our yearly intakes for machine operators, and engineers will come later in the year. When it comes to engineering, we look for mechanical and electrical engineers, and we partner with HETA, who are based, I believe, off the top of my head, on the south bank and north bank of the Humber. And what we do is we partner with them to put our apprentices through their mechanical or electrical engineering apprenticeship, and then after that they become time-served engineers, and off you go in your career from there. The same with machine operators. Apart from this time, we partner with Hull Council for that, and I think that is a shorter apprenticeship. But what we will then do is, obviously, once you again come out of your apprenticeship, put you into a time-served role as a machine operator, and off you go in your career from there. Transport apprentices, so we've got multiple transport depots right across the UK. The two in the Humber area, as I mentioned earlier, in Barton upon Humber and Howden. So right across the UK at the moment, including with Brexit, we have a huge shortage of LGV drivers. It's something we noticed a year or so ago, which was beginning to affect our business. And the way we aim to counteract that was by recruiting 50 to 100 drivers each year to put them through their LGV lessons using our apprenticeship levy. Once you obviously pass your driving test at the end of the 12 months, you then become a fully qualified driver, which you can then drive one of our lorries or one of our trucks, which are on the Humber Bridge within that image, and then obviously deliver the Dream Kitchens to our customers' doorsteps. As I mentioned earlier, we also have the sort of transport apprentice within our depots, the administrator, right up to the supervisor and managerial level. If you do become a manager after starting with an apprentice, our VP of Transport and our Transport Directors both started in managerial roles at depots. So even when you become a manager, the world doesn't stop in terms of you progressing in your career. So the LGV driver, we currently partner with two training providers. One is the Grimsby Institute and the other is TRS, who specialise in transport apprenticeships and industrial apprenticeships. The aim is to hire 50 to 100 year on year. We don't know when that will stop, so every year we will be hiring apprentices right across the UK, including at our Barton and Howden transport depots. There is no timescale or date that I can put on the intakes. It'll just be a case of keeping an eye out on our careers sites and on our social media pages for when these apprenticeship adverts come out. And in terms of transport admins, that is a yearly intake. And as I put there is a career path straight to be coming up to a managerial role from there. IT apprenticeships. So at our head office in Barton upon Humber, we have what we call the UK's largest IT centre. It's absolutely huge, and it's got room for over 500 people based in there. In terms of that is where a lot of our IT staff who aren't remote are based, such as our service desk. Now, in our service desk team, what we like to do is recruit apprenticeships. In terms of that, when we recruit an apprenticeship in this type of role, because we are different to many other businesses within the Humber area, we can then develop and mould the apprenticeships for our service desk team to suit the needs of the business. On completion of their apprenticeship, the service desk engineers will serve both our UK and USA business. So at the moment, because our USA business is in its infancy, what we are looking to do as a service desk is hire more apprenticeships. We currently have 2 apprenticeship roles for service desk at the moment, which are currently live on our career site. Build them up, put them through their IT apprenticeship with one of our training providers, and from there, once you finish your apprenticeship, you become a service desk engineer, and then you actually start helping our employees both in the UK and the USA with their technical issues or their IT and hardware equipment, whatever it may be. Customer services. So we currently have a contact centre. We've just recently opened a new one at one of our sites in Scunthorpe as well. So we've actually got 2 at the moment. What we like to do within customer services is, because we are very unique in this area in the fact that we are only kitchen provider in this area, it's very difficult for us to actually go out and poach staff in terms of customer services from our competitors. So what we like to do is bring in apprentices, teach them all about what customer service is and what good customer services and a world-class service looks like, but also obviously what our customers go through. Kitchens are a very complex product, and a customer could call you in about many different things to do with their kitchen that's been delivered, or whether something's gone wrong, or whatever it may be. So what we like to do is bring in apprentices at the early stage of sort of their career within customer services, who are really enthusiastic and really looking to develop a career in this sort of environment, and then really teach them A, about customer services, and B, about all the knowledge that you need for Wren Kitchens to obviously go on and have a successful career working with our customers. We have intakes throughout the year. So again, we don't have that planned. It's just a case of keeping an eye out on our customer services website. But there are also lots of opportunities for different career opportunities and progression routes throughout the business, because within our customer services department you learn so much about our customers, so much about our products, so much about the way we work right across our supply chain in the business, that you've got a whole power of knowledge there to actually go on and work within a different environment and a different business area within Wren Kitchens. So a lot of people who have started out in customer services are now in business areas such as product development, or within IT, or within a whole host of different business areas across our business. HR and training. So our people team, which consists of HR, recruitment and training, put a lot of us through our CIPD. We love to promote internally. I've moved up the career progression ladder from joining the business in 2017 as a recruiter to where I am now, and it's the same for a lot of us. It's what we like to do within the people department. We like to promote from within, because then we feel that sort of gives a good example to the rest of the business. But we also hire experienced staff, and we also hire apprentices with no experience. We put them through their qualifications, and we'll partner them with experienced people of the team to then build up their confidence, their knowledge, and to fly in their career from there. And I touched on administrators earlier, so a lot of our different business areas have administrators to basically assist with the day-to-day operations. As part of our sort of initiative to drive the early careers right across the business, what we are pushing for at the minute is to hire apprentice admins who we can sort of invest our time in and develop into obviously what we need, and then obviously we can progress in their career, whether it be through further personal development or qualifications from there. Success stories. So I mentioned myself, I was a success story. I didn't join the business as an apprentice, but in terms of sort of career paths and sort of where you can go in your career, I've put down a few examples. And even if you joined us as an apprentice, there is nothing to stop you as we continue to grow in the business, absolutely flying through a career here. So Raf is our current manufacturing director, or one of our manufacturing directors. He's actually moving over to the USA to be the director of our USA business. But Raf actually joined us in an entry-level position many years ago, and has simply worked his way up to now sit on the board of directors for one of the fastest-growing businesses in the UK. So you can see the success story there. Steph, within customer services, joined us as an advisor in an entry-level role, actually transferring over from our sister company, eBuyer. Steph is now the head of customer installations. James, who is one of our engineering managers, is actually our manager for our Barton site. Joined us as an apprentice engineer, worked his way up, came out of his time, and has now simply progressed into a managerial role where he's managing a whole host of different engineers, from mechanical, electrical to controls, and he manages that operation for the huge factory that we currently have here in Barton. Alex, he's our current transport manager for the Barton depot. He actually joined us as a porter. A porter is a driver's mate, so we send our delivery teams out as a two-man delivery team. He initially joined us to help deliver kitchens. He would go out with a driver, take the kitchens off the back of the lorry with the driver, and then put them into the customers' homes. He's gone through the progression route of progressing. He hasn't done his LGV. He's gone through the route of progressing along the lines of the admin, with them putting through his different managerial and operation manager apprenticeship qualifications, and he's simply progressed to now running his own depot of around 100 lorries, which travel all across the UK to deliver our kitchens. So the list is simply endless. I could literally go on and on and on about the opportunities that we have here and the career progression that we have. It's simply a case of, if you do join our business as an apprenticeship, and you take the opportunity that is there for you, and you have the right attitude, you put everything into obviously your role, we will recognise that. we will, if we need to, put you through more qualifications, or we will put you through more training internally to help you develop, and we will watch you and help you fly in your career wherever you want it to go. So the benefits of being an apprentice at Wren. So one thing I don't believe in myself, and we don't believe in as a business, is what the government offer in terms of an apprenticeship wage. We don't believe that anybody can live off the minimum wage of £4, whatever it is, whether you're 16, 18, in terms of even if you live in an apprentice and you're living at home with your mum and dad and you don't drive and you don't have a lot of outgoings. We don't think that's enough. So therefore, what we do is all of our apprentices who join the business will join on the national living wage for adults. So currently that's at £8.91. So no matter how old you are, no matter what position, that will be the minimum you join us in. You'll also be rewarded with all the same benefits of an experienced employee who's been with us for a number of years, such as myself. So we won't discount anything from you. You'll still have access to our free on-site gyms, subsidised meals in our restaurants, the quarterly bonus schemes or monthly bonus schemes, which are used to incentivise you and top up your salary. You'll have access to free annual eye test. The list simply goes on for an apprentice, and it's something that we like to obviously reward our employees with, whether you're an apprentice or you are an experienced member of staff. And then once you finish your apprenticeship, I've sort of touched on it earlier, development won't stop there. We utilise our apprenticeship levy to the maximum we can utilise it to. If we need to pay for a qualification or some training outside of the apprenticeship levy, we're happy to do that as well, because what we're looking to do is maximise the potential of all of our employees to continue to drive the success, continue to drive the growth year on year right across our business in the UK. And hopefully from there, some of us will progress over to the USA business and continue to drive that business as well for many, many years to come in the future. So whether it's a qualification, whether it's training that you're looking to do after your apprenticeship to move on and progress in your career, we're the business which will fund that for you and look to put you through that. So that is it. We are on to questions.
Great stuff. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Really appreciate your insights. Very good. And we've got lots of questions coming through for you. So let's get on with that. So someone says, are there any apprenticeship opportunities available right now?
Yes, there are. Yeah, so we've currently got 2 IT service desk apprenticeship opportunities available in Barton upon Humber. We've currently got many of our transport depots, including Barton upon Humber, the LGV driver scheme. We're currently on the lookout for 2 admin apprenticeships for our compliance department, and there's going to be 2 more released today or tomorrow for our field installations department, which are all based at our head office. And then machine operators, we're currently going through the recruitment process for that, so the application process for that is closed now. But then engineering will be coming up in a couple of months, so there's quite a bit of excitement going on around the apprenticeships.
Yeah, loads of things available. The next question says, how long do I need to train for?
Oh, it depends on the length of your apprenticeship. Apprenticeships can be anywhere from 12 months to, I think, 4 or 5 years, I think. So it literally depends on what apprenticeship you decide to do, and then obviously what you join us in, really. And then obviously once you come out of your training, you progress into a time served role and then look to flourish in your career from there.
Fabulous. So again, I'm going to sorry about the building work. I'm really it's so long. So someone has asked, is there an opportunity for career progression?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's huge. I touched on it sort of briefly, I suppose, in one of the slides there, but all of our board of directors who make all of the business decisions have been promoted into their roles. Many of them started in entry-level positions many years ago. I say many years ago, we only started in 2009, so they've progressed really quickly, and the opportunity is still going to be there throughout the years to come, as we've got no plans to stop slowing down in terms of our growth year on year, and then the USA business as well is just adding to the top of that. So.
Fab. Yeah, I mean, it's great to know that you can go into an apprenticeship and then have more ahead of you, which is always a good thing.
That's it. Yeah.
Someone says, what's the working week like?
Oh, depends. It depends which department. So for me, it's quite simple. My core business hours and a lot of the core business hours of the central functions are 8:30 till 5. Within manufacturing, it differs slightly because we are a 7-day-a-week operation. We have sort of weekday shifts, night shifts, weekend shifts, all different types of things. What we do like to do with the apprentices is try and keep the hours as simple as possible so that you're not working nights or you're not working weekends. We like to try and keep it as normal to a core business hours that we can do before obviously you then finish your apprenticeship and become a time served, let's say, engineer, and then go on to an engineering shift pattern. So it's a good question, but quite a tricky one to tricky one to answer.
Well, that answers the next question. Someone did say, do I need to work on the weekends?
Yeah, again, it depends on which area of the business you join us in. So transport and manufacturing are 7-day operations, as are our showrooms. They're open 7 days a week as well. So it really depends on which area of the business you join. If you do join in one of our central functions in the head office, some of them are 6 days a week, some of them are 5 days a week. So it really does depend on which area of the business you're joining.
Okay. So a lot of these questions are so it's hard, isn't it, to answer for you? Someone says, what does a day in the life of an apprentice look like? And I know you say, obviously, I'm sure you're going to say it varies on what the job is, but maybe maybe let's pick something like an office role just for ease.
Yeah. So let's say you joined us in an administrator in my recruitment department. The day in the life, it depends sort of where you are in your career, but if you were to join us as sort of, let's say, a fresh apprentice, what we'd look to do is partner you up with one of our experienced recruiters, and then obviously what happens is my recruiters work with different areas of the business, so you then tend to sort of move on to work with another area of the business, an area of the business. So we try and give you as much rounded knowledge, whichever role, whichever department you're joining, for all of sort of, I suppose, the business knowledge, but obviously the key business knowledge which you need for the area which you go into. There'll often be training involved. There'll often be sort of presentations involved from some of the senior staff. Again, with our training providers, they may do some training on site, or you may go off site to their training provider to work with them to work on something which they want to teach, and they teach as part of their core apprenticeship sort of skills. But again, what we'll try and do is we'll try and sort of create the apprenticeship to our business. So a lot of the apprenticeship providers will do a generic apprenticeship, but what we like to do is tailor what they do to our business to make sure that you're getting the most out of us, and we're obviously developing you to what we need to be. So
love that. So I know you've covered a lot of this over the sort of in the slides and stuff. I am going to do all these questions just because, it's like a nice recap at the end. So entry requirements, again, I'm sure they're going to be different depending on, but is there like key entry requirements everyone's going to have?
No, not at all. We are happy to work with somebody who has no qualifications, somebody who has minimal GCSEs to get onto an apprentice. To get onto an apprenticeship, obviously you have to pass your functional English and maths, which we will work with the training providers. If we feel somebody from the recruitment process is absolutely fantastic and absolutely right, but they don't have the right level of English or maths, let's say, for getting onto the apprenticeship, we will work with the training provider, or we actually have an English teacher employed by us to actually work with our staff to help improve their English, so we can actually, in terms of the apprenticeship, actually get them onto the apprenticeship to then, put them through that to then flourish in a career at Wren Kitchens. So,
well, it's really nice to hear that, it's that you let people who perhaps didn't have the formal qualifications still get involved, because that's really important. Yeah. And unless anyone sends any questions in the next few minutes, the last question is, do all the apprentices train together?
So per business area, you are more than likely at some point to probably train with other apprentices if you're hired in a group. In terms of that, the apprentices probably won't mix per business area. They'll just train within their individual business areas to get the most out of that. It may be a case of that they go and spend some time with a different area of the business to learn about what they do. But again, you won't actually mix in terms of, let's say we hire some engineering apprentices and some IT apprentices, they won't train together. Simply because they'll probably have a different training provider, they'll be going through a different training scheme, sort of agenda with us, and there'll be no need for it really. So
fab. Well, thank you so much, Jonathan. You've covered so much in this webinar.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate your time, and I think you've probably given people a lot to think about in terms of looking at apprenticeships, which is great. So guys, that's a wrap on this session. Thank you all for your questions, some really good questions in there. And thank you, Jonathan, again, for taking the time out of your day to come and chat with us.
No worries at all. No, fantastic. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
And thank you very, very much. And thanks, guys. We hope you enjoy the rest of the Humber Apprenticeship Showcase going on. So see you later, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone.